You're listening to Your Rivers Are Wrong, the podcast.
Good morning, or evening, or afternoon, whenever you may be. Welcome back to the Your Rivers Are Wrong podcast. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Dante.
And I'm one of your other hosts. My name is Marilyn. Well, the only other host.
The only other host. And we're here, as we are every week, to talk about the wonderful whimsies of world building, the arts and aesthetics of setting up a setting, and telling stories born from it. Today, what are we doing? We're doing fan prompts.
Hey, it's that time of the series again. Is that how you say it? Sure. I want to say that time of the year, but the year barely started. It's like first episode of 2024 we're recording, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are releasing season 7. We're releasing season 7 at the top of 2024, but this is the first episode we're officially recording in 2024.
We're prepping a little, you know.
Very exciting.
We're good at our job.
As long as we say that, everybody knows we're doing well.
It will be the truth. Yes. Yes, that's how it works.
Did you have a good New Year's? Do anything exciting?
I had a great New Year's. Yeah, it was great. I was partly at my mom's place, finally having some of that good, sweet quality time, which was great. Also, it's been super cold here, so the whole like coziness of winter is still very nice here, which is good. And then New Year's was with friends on like a pretty high balcony, which had a very great view of fireworks that officially were not allowed to be there anymore. But, you know, we saw them anyway. Yeah, it was great. Good stuff.
Is it snowing in Holland yet? Do you guys snow?
It has snowed for a few days, but it's never like that good snow where you can make like snowmen out of it and stuff. It's just like snowing and then fading as it hits the ground. Yeah, kind of sad. But, you know, good for the vibes, the snowy, wintry vibes. I do like it.
That's fair.
How about you? How about your side of the world?
New York always does its thing, and we watch the ball drop as we do every year and laugh at how miserable everybody is watching that.
Wait, okay. At the risk of being like terribly uncultured, please explain to me what this is again.
How do I explain this? Golly, it's a weird tradition. New York City, in the middle of Times Square, there's a giant metallic ball that's on the top of a building.
Oh.
And
okay.
And at New Year's, I mean, when I'm saying it now, it sounds dumb.
I mean, I don't know.
It's actually super cool. No, it's not.
I mean, if you know it, you know it, and it's super normal, right? But if you've never heard of it, it's always going to be more random.
So it's like a giant disco ball, I think would be the best way to explain it.
Okay.
That stays above a building all night, and it's put up there around December, I think. I don't know if they take down the ball. I don't know where they put it. Actually, never. That's a fantastic question.
Where do they put the ball?
Anyway, at midnight, the ball lowers itself and drops at the second that midnight hits. And then confetti is thrown from all the sides of the skyscrapers, and it's real cool looking, and everybody celebrates, and there's always music and stuff.
Sounds like a good party.
The running joke is that all the people who are there are tourists because they're definitely not New Yorkers. Do you know why? Because every New Yorker knows that if you go there, you're going to be standing there for 12 to 18 hours in the cold, packed in with other people like sardines, wearing diapers because you can't leave for the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
So it's a terrible, terrible experience.
I didn't want to know that last part, but sure. Okay.
Yeah. A small million people do that every year.
Oh, my God.
Which is
There's never
wild.
A small million. That's not a thing. But you did it. Wait,
million.
You watched it? Or did you watch it on TV?
Yeah, from the comfort
something?
of home. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sounds honestly better. Yes. Okay. Good moments.
Yeah. The highlight of the night, I think, was I introduced my cousin's kid to Pokemon. Which was fun.
Oh my God.
He's playing a little Pokemon game on the Switch, and he's catching Pokemon, and I'm kind of pointing him in the right direction as he walks through towns and stuff.
Yes.
Very charming.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
And I remember he walked through the first forest. He's like, there's so many bugs. I keep running into bugs. And I'm like, yes, this has been a problem for decades. Every kid has gone through this.
You will learn. Yeah.
You will learn. It's very, very fun.
Oh my God. It's like a legacy thing. Wait, how old is this little man?
He's 5 years old.
Oh,
5 years old.
Cute. That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas break well spent, I would say.
Nice restful period, and we're jumping back into the workflow, so to speak, whether it be jobs or creative content. Okay, you ready to kick this off?
I'm ready. Warming up the muscles. I think we're good.
As we both stretch
break, yeah.
behind the webcam. Stretch break.
That's good. Maybe we should keep it in. Yeah.
Every week we have a scheduled stretch break right before the prompts. So wherever you are, wherever you're sitting,
Yeah.
give yourself a stretch.
Why not?
We can make that happen. To write that into the weekly itinerary stretch during podcast.
Yes.
Okay, let's start this. Every 5th and 10th episode of a season, so if this episode ends in 5 or 0, it's a fan prompts episode. I asked people on my personal YouTube page as well as our Twitter page to send us in fan prompts, 1-sentence world-building prompts that they can toss our way, and we'll riff and improv an entire world out of it, or a situation, or storyline, whatever we're called to do based on your inspirations. So we have prepared 2 prompts each that we'll be tossing to each other that the other is none the wiser of. I believe I start this off. Are you ready for your first prompt?
I am ready. Let's go.
Okay. I'm going to give you one that just kind of had your name on it. It's the only one from Twitter. Shout outs from Polyphonica, who always gives us wonderful prompts and always...
Wait, I love these guys. They're so great.
It's the only one of only 2 people who interact with us on Twitter because our Twitter presence is like yay small.
I mean, we definitely are the ones to blame for that.
It's not anyone's fault. We're just really bad at Twitter. This one's for you. Merla, I'm going to ask you to improvise this prompt. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
The greatest fights in the Colosseum are fought through singing. Build a character who has yet to find their style.
Oh my God. It's great. This sounds great.
Sounds like a Broadway.
Yeah, it kind of has my name on it. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I'll take that. I'll proudly take that, in fact. Dang. I mean, that's cool. So it's basically, okay. So if you're going, imagine being an audience member, right? Like a night at the Coliseum. You're going to basically see like all sorts of genres. Like you're going to have like mini concerts. It's going to be like a Voice of Holland or no, Voice of whatever, America.
I don't know
Voice
what that is.
USA. Oh, is that not a thing? Anyway, singing competition.
Okay, cool.
Oh, maybe it's just that. Well, anyway, this is already so off the rails. What I mean is if you're going to a night at the Coliseum and then there's a bunch of like, I guess, sort of gladiator-esque competition styles going on, then every fight that you're going to have is going to be like 2 singers battling it out, right? That's what we're kind of seeing here. So depending on what singers you have, you're going to basically have a different concert every like however long a fight is, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or we could go even like the more fantasy crazy route where it's literally their sort of magical power that enables them to fight in a sort of, I mean, that's interesting.
Like a spell casting that happens through music.
Yeah, like singing spell casting or like singing warrior moves, which is also kind of cool. Like, I'm not going to lie, both versions I like a lot. This is basically a character building exercise then, yes. Okay, so then let's just dive into this. I'm immediately edged towards the idea of someone who has never made a sound in their life. Which is
what?
Like, what if someone's just mute and for their entire life has dreamt of, participating in this impossible dream, right? Of participating in these gladiator battles with sort of the singing being the impossible dream because they've never said a word in their life. But everything is sort of gearing them towards this, or is them trying to make it into this Colosseum. I can imagine this could be such a big event that it's terribly hard to even like make it in. Like the selection is super cruel and very impossible and probably corrupt. This is a big Olympic Games kind of feel to this, right? Like everyone goes here. It's the event of the season or of the years, I would love if this was a sort of storyline where the whole storyline is basically the main character who is mute trying to even like make their way into a gladiator fight. It's almost not even the point whether they can actually do it. It's just like it's already so hard to get in that's going to be the whole like 80% of this book is to like even enter this event, right?
Okay.
And then, of course, the hard part of this is that they're not going to be able to qualify themselves because they can't make a sound. Either they have like some sort of backstory trauma that disables them from making sound or talking or communicating, or it's just a thing they're born with. Maybe, I don't know. It's just a sort of anomaly in the population where they're just unable to talk. I don't know. I don't know if it even matters, but I think the idea of trying to achieve something so ridiculously not meant for you, kind of, is really great. And I think it allows for such ridiculous sort of shenanigans where, like, imagine you're having to go on a like audition, right, for like even the qualification round of this. Like, what are you gonna do if you can't sing, but if you can't even make a noise and you still want to somehow go through to the next round? Like, I get like sort of samurai like 9-part temple vibes from this, right, where it's like, how do I even progress to the next thing and totally like cheat my way through this to even make it to the ground, to the pit.
So it's more of a test of their like resourcefulness, like how to make sound without speaking or how to engage without a voice.
I mean, I think that's just how it starts. I'm kind of envisioning a little bit like the storyline of Up or something, right? Where they have this sort of impossible dream of getting a house and sailing away and being like magically happy in a super different life from their own, right? Mm-hmm. Or it could be kind of like Coco the movie style, where they just look up to one of these singing gladiators, let's just call them like that, one of these singers that participates and is like the fan favorite that has been the one source of happiness for their entire youth. They've been looking up to them. They've been, looking at all the places they've been, listening to all of their performances. And, if nothing else in life works out, at least meeting this one person, this one gladiator to look up to is the main goal of this character's life. So if they can figure that out somehow, like if they can make it to the arena and stand in front of them and interact with them, that would be the sort of ultimate challenge, right? And whether that's a cheat or not, like maybe it also starts as a cheat code and then slowly they start to figure out that their voice does matter, but maybe it's a different kind of, maybe it's an expression that we're talking about. What if it's just they can't communicate or they can't sing, but they can make noise like physically, or they can sort of I don't know, use percussion or use dance instead. What if it's something like that, where it doesn't matter what your expression is. This is going to be so wholesome, but it doesn't matter what your way of artistic expression is, but it will enable you to fight no matter where your sort of gift or passion comes from. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of angles to this, but
I like it.
Yeah, it's an interesting prompt. I mean, also, I wish it's true and you could just go to like fucking musical battles in a gladiator show. That would make my heart very happy, side note. So thank you very much for this prompt. But I think, yeah, lots of angles to go with for this. And also I think it's great because it's sort of like genre based as well. Like if you have two opera singers against each other, like is it going to be an easier battle, or if it's going to be like a super high end hardcore battle because they know each other's styles so well, right? There's a lot of like technical stuff as well that's super nice about this.
Oh, I'm imagining like there's a whole commentators team, you know how sports have like that table of like analysts, and they're like, this is a classic one-on-one opera battle. It's been happening for decades. We all know the drill for this one. The next one after it, though, is ska versus country. Yeah, and we haven't had that interaction in the last 15 years. A country singer hasn't made it to the top, the upper echelon in the last decade. And it's so exciting to see all these new dynamics. What is it going to sound like in there? You know, that kind of thing.
That's going to be amazing. Yes. For all my European listeners out there, it's basically going to be like Eurovision Song Festival, like size of this, but then with like song battles instead of just songs. Yeah, I think that would be great.
I love it. Amazing. Awesome.
Thank you for this prompt. I like it a lot. This is great.
Appreciate it.
Dang.
All right.
Okay.
My turn. Toss me one.
Yeah, here we go. So this one's not from Twitter, but it is from the amazing YouTube channel that you run. And this one is from a person with a great username called Simeon Snow. Sounds very nice. Simeon Snow 6742. Thank you very much for sending in your prompt. And it is the following one. Here you go. A civilization has built around the event horizon of a black hole, where their light catchers are revered highly for their bravery and ingenuity.
This prompt is wild.
I will put it in our Discord to be able to read it. Yeah, because it's a lot. It's a lot happening at once.
When I saw it, I'm just like,
what does that even mean, right?
Huh?
Yeah.
No, but very good prompts are like immediately evocative. Like there's a picture in your mind of what this could look like. And there's like so many variations of what this is resembling. Golly. But let's start from the top here.
Yeah, like talk us through. What are you thinking? Yeah.
A civilization has built around the event horizon of a black hole. That's just the the very edge. I don't actually, let me Google. I'm going to Google Event Horizon because I know I'm familiar with the phrase, but let me do justice to this prompt.
Yeah, please elaborate.
An event horizon is a theoretical boundary around a black hole beyond which no light or other radiation can escape, aka a point of no return.
So this is like once you get past this threshold, you're sucked in forever and that's the end of it. That's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a location we're talking about, kind of.
Mm-hmm. So the concept I'm seeing is that this is a civilization that probably had no choice but to be near a black hole.
I hope so, yeah, because it's a very unfortunate choice, if otherwise.
Some way or another, their technology has advanced to the point that they're not sucked into the black hole, dooming them to the eternal darkness, or they've like scienced their way to just stay right outside of it. You know what? I like, there's actually a different route I'd like to go.
Okay.
I love settings that have just strong, declarative, impossible statements that just kind of set the tone of world building.
Love that sentence. Yeah.
Let's do this. This is a universe where all the stars have died.
Ooh.
The sky has no light.
Eternal darkness. God, that's fun.
And the planets of this unrecognizable future have gone to extreme means to preserve themselves, preserve their life, and find a way to return back to the normalcy of centuries back or millennia back, however long it's been. Perhaps light is just a rumor. Perhaps it's just a concept.
Oh, I like that.
And these people have never existed with it. Maybe it's been so long since there's been any star in any sky that the world has always been this darkness, and these people have existed within it. But their scientists find the records of an ancient civilization that speaks of this radiance that belongs in the sky, that grows their crops, that prospers their people, that flourishes the world beyond anything these people have ever seen. And the only place that light exists is beyond the event horizon of a black hole, where things have been preserved from previous timelines.
Ooh, dang, you just created that in your brain right now. It's great.
I mean, we read sci-fi in this house, so it happens.
I mean, yes, you do. I can hear that.
So the people who enter into the black hole are not necessarily preserving their people, but they're chasing the possibility of a dream, of something that has never been seen before.
Right.
We speak of black holes even in our reality, in this reality that we exist in. We speak of black holes and everything past the event horizon as something we will never ever witness, for this simple premise of oblivion beyond it, right? People do not survive past black holes, therefore we will never see past black holes, period. I like that idea, and I'm going to say that these people who have existed in darkness forever have a little bit more understanding of black holes and how they operate, and this will be the first venture of their astronauts to venture into one.
Elsewhere. Yeah.
If this was a book, it would open up with the theory and the concepts, and it would pitch the build up to this moment, and the first couple chapters would be straight up chucking their people through the black hole.
Nice.
In search of whatever exists beyond it, and they will be witnessing these existences, these worlds, these galaxies that have been since swallowed by time itself and exist completely separate to the world of darkness that they have currently. And whether that be something akin to Earth, whether that be some other sort of star system, people witnessing light for the first time ever, that's a concept.
That is a concept. Yeah.
And I think what only makes sense to me is if these people were to ever return, they would return thousands upon thousands of years later, to the point that history has forgotten them. Because I don't know astrophysics, I couldn't tell you, but black holes seem like things that disregard time, right? Like entirely exist.
They're very mystical, yes.
Yeah.
Also, we're making shit up anyway. Like, you can totally do that all the time. Yeah, go for it. You can just say whatever you want.
If they go back in time, if they go forward in time, yeah.
It's a time loop, yeah.
Maybe this book just starts with people returning from the black hole with all of these stories and trying to reconcile a world and teach them what they've seen. Something along those lines.
That's great.
And yeah.
So are these people considered the light catchers then?
Yeah, these people would be considered the light catchers.
Nice.
They'll be bringing something back to the world of darkness that they've never been seen before.
I love it so much. It's great.
Yeah. There you go. I see it in my head. I know what this looks like.
I super see this in my head. Yeah.
I see the little pod. I see the rope that tries to keep them connected to the world that immediately breaks. That sort of thing. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me talk about black holes.
I think Simeon is probably also a black hole enthusiast, Otherwise, I think
absolutely.
it would be hard to write a super satisfying problem like this. Yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't use the word Event Horizon.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope we did it justice, Simeon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. What'd you got for me?
Let's keep going. The next prompt I've got for you is one that I thought was very, very funny. So this one is from Shane Quigg 1453.
Okay.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
And it reads, yeah, I was raised a cultist, but now I only do the big summonings a few times a year to make my parents happy,
The casualness of this is so funny to me. Wow. I mean, yeah, not all cultists are completely devoted, I guess. Yeah. Huh.
Just a casual summoning.
Huh. Okay. Man, this is such a dad prompt. Like in the best way. Like,
Explain.
no, but like I can see, well, it kind of reminds me of like someone who started with like in the character, right? Like someone who started super passionate and like either the hero or the villain of some kind of story. And then, years pass and he's like, so what do I do now? Like I've done all this stuff now. And he's like, yeah, I started off as a super like passionate cultist guy, but then, some point it gets kind of boring. So like, what do you do? Like you still have to sort of keep up your faith, I guess, or like, well, whatever that's called in cults. But, I'm interested in like a casual life now. Like he's just more casual about it.
I love the idea that his parents check up on him, right? His parents check up on him. Are you still doing the summonings? Yeah. Come on. How's your summoning this year? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So I love this so much because it feels very slice of life, right? And slice of life cults are not really a thing because you're not really casual about cults usually if you're in one.
No, not usually.
Or if you're making one, you're also, you really shouldn't be casual about it because otherwise you're going to bind no one to your ridiculous plans, right?
Isn't a casual cultist like an oxymoron? I feel like cultists are fanatics by default.
Yeah, I guess yeah, this is so funny as well. Like, I mean, it's so like confusing. So here's what I find interesting about this. If this is like a family thing, I'm getting very much like sort of witchy, like cozy witchy games vibe.
Cozy witchy games. Sure.
And hear me out. I know this is very different, but like in a way of like, okay, your mother passes it on to you and she teaches you the craft and you live in a cute house and you don't really like go out into the world as much. It's just like making potions for the locals and that's kind of it. And also you're just doing other like normal human stuff like, I don't know, baking pies and, watering your flowers. And, that's really the vibe I get from this, right? Like, okay, so he is a cultist, but he's also the most chill cultist in the world. Like, he goes to gatherings every now and then he's like, hey, Steve, oh, you're still around. Nice. Hey, you got a new robe, That's really the feel I get from this.
New robe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been using a new detergent. Yeah, this is really great fabric softener. I really picked up. It's fantastic.
I feel like this is like, okay, let's just give this guy a name, right? Like, I think this is Greg or something. This is Greg the cultist. Greg the cultist is like living in, I guess, human-ish times where, he's maybe like 55 or something. Like he's had a few good days behind him, lots of great stuff still in front of him. His parents are still around. They're pretty old. Like they really taught him the ways of the cult of, God, what are we naming this? The cult of, what if it's like super fucking dark? That would be really funny.
Go for it.
What if it's like, this is going to be like some weird like body horror shit or something where it's like every half a year they have to complete the ritual of like, I'm gonna go like don't blame me for anything I'm gonna say in the coming 5 minutes.
I'm absolutely blaming you for everything you say from here on out.
Going there anyway. Every half a year, let's say twice a year, they have a big meeting, right? This is the big summoning he talks about. They have a big meeting where every one of the cults who is kind of dwindled a little bit by now, like only the real, like, long-term cultists are still here because there's a lot of shifts happening in cults as they do. But, the core group of like at least 30 people is going to come every half a year to this, I guess, dark cave at the edge of the world, kind of location. They hung up like little plates that say where you have to go because, the path shifts every now and then because of the great distorted, cursed nature around it. But once you get in, you're welcomed with a very nice homemade baked pie that probably one of the members has made. Whenever it's your turn, you have to sort of like enable the catering of this event. It's a very big deal, Yeah.
Is the pie part of the summoning process? Is it like we have to have a pre-ritual pie? Is that something that's been established or?
A pre-ritual pie? I do like that. So let's say yes. Pre-ritual pie is part of the deal. You don't bring the pie or you don't eat the pie, you're not in, dude. Like you got to be at least somewhat committed. Everyone has to bring for this summoning one body part of like someone they found. Like it's, the more rare it is, the more interesting.
Amazing.
In whatever state it is, it's going to change the summoning. If you have a perfectly pristine underarm of your neighbor, you bring it around, you preserved it perfectly, you put a little like garnish over it. I don't know if it's 100%.
You season it?
Yeah, it's gonna up the value of this summoning shit. Everyone brings their own body part. The higher quality, the better. Let's say, and even if you're casual about it, if you bring a really good body part, they're gonna be okay because you at least bring you bring the passion where it's most needed. And if then you only come to the big ones and you kind of let go of the the small, if you let go of the workshops and the monthly check-ins, they'll kind of forgive you for it because at least you add to what's most important, right? Which is summoning give me like a good demon or something. Like what are we summoning here? I want something truly like terrible and not slice of lifey at all.
The amalgamation.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
It's kind of like a mismatched Frankenstein thing that's put together with all these pieces,
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I like this a lot. Yeah, and to upkeep it, right? You have to constantly add to it and things will sort of die away because it's not really fitting right. And this is gross. Yeah.
Right,
that's also why it's in a really hard to reach impossible, terrible, cursed cave because otherwise how could this thing even exist, right? Yeah.
Of course.
But,
yeah.
Dedication or casualness aside, as long as you bring some good shit, you're gonna be part of the crew here. So what's the guy's name? Greg the cultist was raised well by his parents. His dad's probably also called Greg, and his mom's maybe like I don't know something else, Mary, whatever.
Sure.
So Greg the dad and Greg the little kid were like on trips all the time. They went to all the monthly meetings. They tried out different body parts and wrote down whatever their experiments on it were. Like what seasonings are working here, like what is the amalgamation happy about and what is he not like? We're learning here. We're bringing as much energy and knowledge and passion into this culty life that we have as possible. But years passed and Greg grew up a little bit and then he realized he also really likes other things. Like there's more things in the earthly life than just like dedication to your strange cult that you grew up in. He loves his parents. Like there's nothing wrong with them. He had, despite the very perhaps from the outside terribly cursed looking cult that he's part of, he had a nice upbringing. They had good dinners together. They have great moments. He has good memories of his childhood. But, Greg's becoming his own person a little bit. And as time passes, he starts living a little bit further away and he meets other people. He finds a really nice girl that he hangs out more with. And she's like, well, I'm not sure if this cult's really my thing, but you do you, but let's also just maybe just go to like museums a little more. And let's like not only do the whole body part thing, because that's a lot to just, you have to broaden your horizon a little bit. So Greg's broadening his horizon. And he's going to tell his parents every now and then. And they're like, well, I really don't like that you're sort of losing your dedication a little bit here, Greg. But Greg's like, as long as I bring it whenever it's necessary, how can you blame me for being dedicated only in the moment of truth, right? As long as I'm truthful in the moments where it counts, I think I'm allowed to also go to the movies every now and then with my girlfriend.
Really motivational.
Yeah. So, he only does the big summonings as I'm looking back at if I answered the prompt or not. He only does the big summonings a few times a year, but his passion never dwindled. it only got dispersed a little bit. The end.
I love it. Love it. I can hear the conversations in my head.
Yeah. Greg's a good guy. You know, he means well. He just wants to make it great for everyone.
Yeah. Like the parents are saying, Greg, you brought a lock of hair today? You brought hair to the amalgamation? We have so much hair here. You can't just bring hair to the amalgamation. Your cousin Carl, he brought a whole toe bone. He's got a whole set of a skeleton.
He went on like a quest for 2 months, dude. Yeah, like it's really.
He's really doing something for himself. What are you doing, Greg? What's going on with you? That kind of energy, you know?
Yeah, definitely around. They had like a few fights on this as well. Like, you know, Greg really has to stand his ground for, you know, believing in what he believes in. But
growing process.
Who says you can't be a cultist and a happy guy at the same time? You know, let's leave some for the rest of us. Yeah,
that's gonna end up in the title some way somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Greg.
I'm rooting for him, honestly.
I love him.
All right.
Yeah. God. I mean, we gotta let him go, right? There's
more
prompts to look at.
Yeah. Things. More pottery classes for him to attend.
Thank you for this prompt. I loved it.
What a wonderful prompt.
Slice of life is my favorite kind of life, after all.
All right.
Okay.
Right. A final prompt. Toss it my way.
Are you ready for the final one?
I've never been ready.
To say, oh, okay, well then, let's go. This one is
Finish your thought. You're about to say something.
I forgot my thought. I don't know. Sometimes I just talk because also we're doing a podcast and it's just nice to have like back and forth. Okay. Here's the final prompt. Mm-hmm. And it is, in fact, I didn't realize this, but perfect segue. It is by Grug. Grug G sent in this prompt. Grug, are you perhaps a cultist by night and, you know, moving over by day? Let's please hear about it. Like, I'm curious. Maybe the universe is trying to tell us something. Anyway, Grug sent in the following lovely prompt that I hoped would at least come up. And if you wouldn't pick it, I definitely wanted to pick it because it's very wholesome and cute. Here you go.
Sure.
Insects, too, travel south for the winter, but they've learned that they can only survive the trek if they catch a ride on machines, humans, or animals.
Exciting. Insects, too, travel south for the winter. Oh, I love it. I'm getting
it's nice, right?
Winter Dark Ghibli vibes from this. Well, obviously, listen, reading this prompt and understanding this prompt, obviously, no doubt in my mind, this is a small insect family of 4. The dad wears the tiniest little top hat thimble and a little bow tie.
I love it already.
He's got a little briefcase. And he's been leading his family for the migration every single year for the past long life of 5 years they've been alive. And you know what? Tragically, this time of year, unfortunately, this story opens with a devastating loss. The family dog has passed.
Wait, okay, so how does this work? Like, is it an insect dog? Like, is it in scale or is it like a giant dog and they're...
No, they're tiny. They're tiny. Of course they're tiny. Yeah.
So the dog is also tiny.
The dog is a normal sized dog.
Okay, got it. No. Just for the perspective here. Yeah.
You're ruining the tragedy. I'm trying to build up the story here.
Sorry.
So in this
bring us back in. Yeah.
Again, we open the story with the tragedy that the family dog has passed. Every year, this family goes on vacation to Florida. You know, Florida, sure. And they always insist on taking their dog. And that's the opportunity for the Fleas to ride with them and have a little vacation for themselves before coming back to the cold, brisk New Hampshire air. It kind of opens with the mourning of this dear family member, immediately followed by a family argument. You hear the door slam in the kitchen where the whole family is gathered. It's mom, dad, older brother, younger sister, little flea, little alcove in the wall. And they say, well, kids, it finally happened. We've lost our home. We have to stay in this wall for a bit. And then the kids are like, well, what are we going to do? And it gets cold. What about our vacation? And the kids are like, oh, we'll think of something. And the mom's like, oh, why don't we hitch a ride on one of those newfangled machines? And then the dad says, oh, no, I'm a traditionalist. We can't just ride these metal monstrosities. It's got to be a living thing. And it's like, oh, this is so difficult. We loved. Give me a letter. I need a letter for the dog.
D.
D. We loved Dolores. Dolores's fur was always so wonderful and so comforting and always took care of us during the ride. Well, we got to think of something else, is what the dad says. And the mom says, well, hear me out. What if we hitch a ride on the people? And immediately there's like a grimace and a snarl, and the police says, we don't ride people. It's taboo. You never know what they get up to. Dogs, predictable. A living human walking 2-footers. I hate it. I did it once when I was very, very young. Lost my brother. I don't want to ever do it again. That's deep lore that's found out later on in the movie, I'm
deep
sure.
Lore, yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Poor
and
guy.
the mom's like, we gotta do it. The kids are so looking forward to this. We got family down in Florida that we really got to talk to. You know, it's the 5-year reunion of this whole reunion business we started. And he's like, yeah, I guess so. All right, kids, pack your bags. We're gonna try to ride a human. And they're like, yeah, what's a human? You know, that kind of thing.
Yes,
and it's this,
I'm so happy.
It's this whole situation where like the family that they're hitching a ride on is also a nebulous family of 4, of mom, dad, sister, brother. And originally they all ride on the dad, but the problem with the dad is that the dad is balding, so he doesn't have much hair to hang on to. So they try his sweater for a bit, and in the scuffle, in a crazy situation that happens at the airport as everybody's disembarking, is that the family gets separated. The mom, the dad, the brother and sister, who are all capable human beings and grown up, all have to go their separate ways for this vacation. And as such, the fleas are also separated. So the goal, as I'm realizing this has now become Ratatouille, is for the fleas to help the humans find each other once more.
Amazing.
And this all takes place in Florida. We're filming in Miami, so it's very comfortable for the people on set. The fleas will obviously be cast using real fleas. We have to stay true to, the culture.
Yes.
And
the culture of fleas, yes.
And
represented on the screen at last.
For the comfort of everybody, in the closing credits, we'll just say that the dog is a paid actor. They're not really dead.
Wasn't harmed in the process, yes.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
yes.
and that's my pitch, and I'm sticking to it.
Amazing. I love it. I also get like wild Parasite vibes. Have you watched that movie? It's one of the greatest movies ever.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't, please watch it.
The one you have a poster of in your room?
Oh, yeah. It's right there as I turn the camera for Dante.
As nobody else sees. Yes.
I mean, it's great. They're parasiting quite literally on each member. I hope that they're also like really bonding in the process to their personal human.
Of course.
I wish that is a part of this story. Yeah. Okay. And, they're learning things about what humans actually are in the process, and that they kind of hate fleas usually, but you're a special one,
Yeah. And when they get home, there's like a little cubby where they can live. They just set aside a little space,
Yes. I
Wonderful.
love it. Perfection.
Okay. And that's all we got for you today on Fan Prompts.
Oh, God, it's already over.
Thank you so much for sending in all of your wonderful ideas. We always love reading them.
They
and
were amazing,
them.
as always. Yes.
Truly the highlight of every season. Tune in for the rest of this season. We got 5 more episodes in season 7, and we're going to knock them all out soon. So stick around. Thank you for listening. If you want to follow us, again, you can find us here, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. I think Google Podcasts is dying, actually. I'm not sure if Google Podcasts still exists. We'll know soon enough.
Good that we exist on all the other stuff as well. Just change over. Yeah.
And with that, we will continue to world build and storytell. And as you do the same, we always must remind you of the universal truth of every story in every setting, which is your rivers are wrong.
Yep.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Rivers Are Wrong. If you have ideas for topics, prompts, or you just want to share your thoughts, please reach us at yourriversarewrong@gmail.com. That's yourriversarewrong@gmail.com. Also, a big thanks to Maarten Schellekens, who created the intro and outro music for our podcast. And most importantly, thank you for listening. We hope to see you at the next one. Bye.